Hey everyone, today we're going to do a beginner's granny square, and that is a granny square with a circle start. So I am using some medium 4 weight yarn, and you can use a G hook, an H hook, an I hook. It doesn't really matter for this pattern. We're really just learning the stitch, so any hook is fine. Go ahead and start with a slip knot, and then chain 4. Before I do anything, I'm going to let you know what I'm doing first, and then if you need to pause the video, you can, and you'll know exactly what I'm about to do. And then when you begin, hopefully we'll be at the same point. Some parts of this video might be a little bit fast if you're just learning. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch into the first chain that we made. Now, in case it looks like you have 5 chains when you really have 4, make sure that you tug on this knot. Sometimes your slip knot is loose. This knot here looks like an additional chain to work into. Mine doesn't, but just in case yours does, that's an easy fix. Okay, so go ahead and put your hook right underneath that loop, that first chain, and you're going to slip stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, and then through the loop on the hook. Now you're going to chain 2, and there you have your circle. There we go. You have your circle to work into. Now if your circle is a little bit tight, sometimes you can just put your hook in there and just wiggle it around, and then it solves that problem. Okay, so go ahead and put a double crochet into your circle. And this tail here, you can just tuck that under. You're gonna work right on top of it. So this chain 2 counts as a double crochet because it looks like a double crochet next to this double crochet. So it looks like 1, 2 double crochets, and that's the pattern for this round. We're gonna do 2 double crochets and then 2 chains, 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 2 double crochet, 2 chain, and we're gonna do 4 sets of those. So let's go ahead and do our chain 2, and then we're gonna do 2 double crochets into the circle start, and then a chain 2, and then 2 double crochets into the circle start again, and then a chain 2, and then 2 double crochets into the circle start again, and a chain 2, and you're ready to join. So go ahead and join to the first stitch that you made here. You can either go right in between these 2 posts, or I like to work right on top of this second post. I like to slip stitch right there. So go ahead and yarn over and pull your yarn through the stitch and through the loop on your hook. Then you're going to slip stitch into this big hole and then pull through the loop on your hook. So you might have 2 or 3 slip stitches across. It's a very forgiving pattern. It doesn't really matter how many you have. The point is to get into this big hole here. So let's see what we made. So it should look like a cross or a plus sign, and each chain space, there should be 4 of them, will be the corners. So go ahead and chain 2, and this counts as the first double crochet, and you're going to do 2 double crochets into the same space. So it's going to look like 3 double crochets put together here. 1, 2, 3. You're going to do 2 chains and 3 more double crochet into the same big space. For this pattern, we will only be working in the chain spaces. And in every corner, you will have the same pattern, no matter how big this square gets. It's always going to be in the corner 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets. So go ahead and chain 1, and then 3 double crochets into the big chain space here. 1, 2, 3, and this is a corner also. They're all corners for this round. Chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into that big chain space. Okay, so you can kind of see it's becoming a square now. And the chain 1 that we did here, you can see we've created a space down the side. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 here, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets and 2 chains and 3 double crochets into this next chain space. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochets again into the same space. Same thing we've been doing. Go. And now we're in chain 1, and see, this is what our chain 1 does. It creates this space here on the side. So on the side of a square, it's always going to be a chain 1 to create these little spaces. So chain 1, and then here we are in a corner again. 3 double crochets into the chain space. This is our last corner. Chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space to complete the corner. And then we always end on a chain 1 throughout this whole project. It'll always end in a chain 1. And then we do the same thing that we did in the last round. We're going to slip stitch to the top of the first chain here. And pull our yarn through a stitch and through the loop on the hook, and we're going to slip stitch all the way across. This is the only time we work into the actual stitches and not the chain spaces. And slip stitch all the way across into the big hole here. You always end in the big hole, the first big hole, and you work in the first corner. So here we go, first corner, we made it. So chain 2. Remember, this counts as a double crochet, so for this corner we're just going to do 2 double crochets, and as you can see, it looks like we have 3 double crochets. And we add 1 more and we do 3 double crochets like all the other ones, it looks like we have too many stitches and it doesn't look right, so that is why we only do 2. We want to keep it symmetrical and seamless. All right, so chain 2, and we're in a corner, so we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that same space. Now for every round you're only going to have 4 chain 2 spaces because the chain 2s only go in the corners. That's it. And the rest is chain 1s. So chain 1 here, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into the side here, into this side space. 2, 3. That's it. Just 3. And then we chain 1, and here we are, we're back in a corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets. So look what our chain 1 spaces did. They created, now we have 2. chain spaces on the side, and it's going to keep growing and growing. As this gets bigger and bigger, we'll have more and more chain spaces on the side, but we'll only have 4 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochet sets because they're only in the corner. So that is just the repeating pattern all the way around. It gets easier and easier as it gets once we get past this round. So chain 1 and 3 double crochets into the side. And chain 1, and then 3 double crochets, 2 chain, 3 double crochet because we are in a corner again. And it's a little bit fast, so you can go ahead and pause it if you need to pause it, and rewind or rewatch whatever you need to. So here we go. Chain 1, and then 3 double crochets into the chain space on the side. And then chain 1, and then a 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet, again because we are in a corner. And this is the last corner. Don't feel bad if you have to rip anything out. I've been crocheting for over 20 years and I still rip things out. So if you have to rip it out, no big deal. Just go ahead and do that and try it again. And here we go, 3 double crochets into this chain space. And remember, we always end on a chain 1. So we have our 3 double crochets, a chain 1, and then slip stitch to the beginning like we have, and slip stitch all the way to the big corner space. And there you have it. That's all there is to it. You just repeat. So we'll go ahead and do this corner. So you remember 1, 2, counts a double crochet, 2 double crochets. Just in the very, very beginning, remember, there's only 2 double crochets because our chain 2 looks just like a double crochet. Looks like we have 3 there. And then a chain 2 and 3 double crochets in the same space because we're working in the corner. And then a chain 1. Now you're going to go ahead and do 3 double crochets into the next chain space. And then you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to do 3 more double crochets into the chain space, and then you're back in a corner to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and it just repeats throughout the whole pattern. So you make this as big as you'd like your square to be, and then I will show you how to finish it off. So let's just pretend we're at the end of a round. We would go ahead and slip stitch to the first stitch like we were doing and pull through a loop. And then you just cut your string, leaving a long enough tail to weave it in. And just pull your yarn right through your loop and all the way out. Tug on it, and then there you go. And then you would just sew this in with a tapestry needle and sew this in with a tapestry needle so it would be hidden. And that's all there is to it.